Good morning, everybody. Some very sad news coming out of Newcastle this morning. I was alerted to it quite early this morning by Marty, who posted a message and directed me to look at the Speedway forum page. So we'll see what it says. Newcastle now closed. And this was a post by Phil 83 8 hours ago. And what are we now? 11:30. So about 3 in the morning. Wow. I have just been made aware that as of late last night, Newcastle Speedway closed its doors. No more fixtures, no more racing this season. So now it's imperative that Newcastle get a new owner. Sorry to be the bearer of the bad news. The club will issue a statement in due course. And then there was another message that I saw. We'll go back to Speedway Forum and see what's being said, but I wanted to share this one quickly because this kind of confirmed my sort of worst fears, if you like. Because of course, Kyle Bickley was due to be making his debut today down at Plymouth. And you can see what Kyle put, simply back to square one. And that was 11 hours ago. So that was just after midnight or around about that time. Must have got that news. So let's go back to the Speedway forum, see what some of the comments are. Do this again. Yeah, okay, hopefully that will work this time. And if I click on share screen, there we are, back with the forum. There we go. Let's have a look at some of the comments. And so the bearer of bad news, the club will issue a statement in due course. And then in a few weeks, after a few rain-offs, I'm sure, just a quick Facebook post to the few who are on there. Hope I'm meeting my words in a few days. I'm gutted. It would be great if it was just a case of, a few weeks, somebody else takes over. Just like the Jamie Courtney has down in Oxford. It's bizarre, isn't it? The dichotomy between the success of Oxford, albeit coming back after 15 years. So you've deprived people of 15 years of racing and they're desperate to get back. Obviously, there's been a few problems for Newcastle. They were going to close at the end of last season. And it was only because so many people rallied round that Rob Grant Jr., probably somewhat against his own inclination, decided that yes, he would run again, because he just obviously loves Newcastle and running Speedway so much. And so Diamonds 85 was put away, man. I spent ages making that post on the 2023 thread. Now you've deleted it. I'm not sure what that's about. Rough Diamond and the reaction from the crowd. Some not happy faces, some very happy faces. Far too many emojis. Okay. It was a bumper crowd that day. Yeah, obviously one of the problems is not getting the people through the door. It was noticeable when Berwick went there. It was a reasonable sized crowd, but obviously Berwick take a lot of support with them down to Newcastle. And Phil posted again, like I said, all I can do is be the bearer of bad news. I have only just found out myself and have brought the news to the community. I know as much as you do at this point. Thanks for being the voice of the club. It's been needed this season. Just because Granty has walked, there's still other people, question mark. Where does Dave Tinning stand now? Surely there was a couple suitors last winter. Are any of them still available? I am aware you don't have the answers and they may come out in time. Just to keep everything crossed, I think. Wish I could afford it. Now that his best mate has walked out, maybe a few of the old faces may be tempted back, even just on a less than regular basis and not as involved monetarily. Who knows? A very sad day. Like I said, all I can do. Yep, I wish I had remembered to put my phone on silent too. I haven't got the heart to tell the guys at the moment. I wait till they're at work. Diamonds 85. What happened to all the money Dave Tinning and the fans club put into the club? Like I said, I don't have the answers to anything at the moment. I literally know what you know at this point. Diamonds 85. I'm sorry for some of my comments on here the last couple of weeks. As you can imagine, this club has been a massive part of my life, my childhood, my teenage years, and now my young adult life. Like I'm sure it has for many others. I am livid that it is closing, and this has been coming for ages. I was so desperate to see change, but it wasn't coming, and now it's gone. What a massive shame. I wish every Diamonds fan, old and new, the best of luck for the future, and who knows, maybe we'll meet again in the future. Wish had it gone differently. A very disappointing end to a club with such massive history. Sad news if it's true. I'm afraid it is. Plymouth have confirmed the meeting is off. It's 100% true. Mike put, not in the least bit surprised if true. Not that I'm doubting anyone, but this club in recent times has been so close to the brink and been pulled back. But I'm absolutely devastated, as that club means the world to me and I will never change my allegiance. I'm devastated I've not been able to go since Rob took over, but sadly, I'm now confined to the house unless I attend hospital appointments via ambulance. Let's hope it can come back somehow, slight that chance is, as I believe it is, I think you meant two as in T low, bigger club to be allowed to go to the wall. So although I think it will be gone and forgotten, I'll cling on to that hope against hope. I think certainly for Berwick and Redcar, very important to have Diamonds, Newcastle in the middle. And as I say, they do, they are good for one another. You know, if I mean, for Berwick, if Edinburgh don't run next season and Newcastle out, it means our closest rivals are then Redcar and Glasgow, and that is looking pretty dire. And yet, as I say, you can contrast it with what's going on in up in Oxford, sorry, down in Oxford. As you can see, there's, I'm not going to go through them all. There's several pages of comment, and I think we get the gist of what's going on. And as I say, having been obviously a big fan of Rob Grant Senior. I did see Rob Grant ride for Newcastle a couple of times. In fact, I think he did actually once ride for Berwick, but I don't think he lasted very long for whatever reason. And although I first started following the Speedway back in 1988, obviously Berwick closed at the end of the 92 season, at which time I got remarried, had kids, playing in a band, and was never able to get along to Sheffield for a good few years. It was the Peter Waite era when I first started going back, and or maybe the Mike Hope era, but it would have been about the late 90s, 97, 98, 99. Once again, though, it was very sporadic. I wasn't able to go regularly because of gigging with the band. On the odd occasion I had a night off, I would sometimes try and get along. But if you get out of the habit, it sometimes becomes easier just to sit and think, well, I'll just watch the telly. Then I remember I was a regular follower of the Bandits when we had our 3 Czech riders. But then again, the gigging commitments took over. I wasn't able to go every week. Although I do remember seeing Seb Alden break the track record when he was riding for Berwick. And I have sporadically gone along. When lockdown occurred, what's over 2 years ago now, I started watching Speedway videos, some of which obviously were filmed by Graham, and particularly the Berwick Bandits Speedway videos, which you'll notice now on their YouTube page, there are no videos. Hopefully they will be back up there. Obviously with Graham filming and James and Marty commenting, hopefully we'll be able to maybe purchase or stream whole matches at some point in the future, or maybe they'll simply be available to watch on YouTube. But certainly for me, it made me realize just how much I had missed Speedway. And luckily at the moment, although I do have some gigs, I'm able to get along quite regularly. This idea of doing the live chats has been going for quite a while. I've wanted to do something like we're doing with Greg and Marty and James. But as I say, there's huge periods when I didn't know anything about the sport. I must admit, there was a time when you would check up on you'd phone the hotline. Obviously it costs to pay, but you got a rundown of what had happened and you got the score and then the scorers. And that was, I did spend quite a lot of money on that, phoning the hotline on the way back from a gig to find out how the Bandits had done. But as I say, I can't help feeling sorry for Rob Grant, both junior and senior. How will this affect Rob? Rob Grant senior, hard as nails. I'm sure that Rob Grant junior is. I was absolutely horrified and shocked when I discovered an article about Rob Grant, particularly junior, but also mentioned senior, from quite a few years back. You know, the closing of Newcastle for Rob Grant must pale into significance to what disaster struck the family a few years back. Let's see if I can find that particular article for you. I say it was only because I was getting various articles about Newcastle and Rob Grant. I particularly wanted to get the pair of them to come on and do a live chat, and I've actually emailed the club. Little did I know that my emails would be presumably of no significance whatsoever as far as they were concerned, but let's just show you what I discovered. It's, you know, for Rob Grant to overcome this tragedy, the Newcastle Speedway closing pales into insignificance. So this was 2013, February 2013. Son opens heart after mum found strangled. Dazed Rob Grant today told how he is struggling to come to terms with the loss of his mum, found strangled in a blaze-hit house. Dazed Rob Grant told how he is struggling to come to terms with the loss of his mum, found strangled in a blaze-hit house. Choking back tears, he opened his broken heart to talk about his mother, Jacqueline, and told how he will be lost without her. Things like this don't happen to people like us, said Rob. This is something out of a CSI movie. Jacqueline, 48, was found on November 29 at around 3 p.m. after a house fire in Meadowbank Drive in Choppington, Northumberland. Firefighters discovered the mum of one from Pontyland in a bedroom in the semi. Then, in the early hours of the following day, police knocked on Rob's door to deliver the worst news. It was about 1:45 when the police knocked. They said there had been a body found in a fire in Choppington, and they had reasonable evidence to believe it was my mum because her car was on the driveway and her belongings were in the house, said Rob, then 27. She had moved out of home because she was going through a bad patch. Her mother had been put in a care home because she has the start of dementia. Mum took it badly, and about 3 months ago, she said she needed a break. She needed to have her own space for a while. She left the family home in Pontyland. We believed she was staying with a friend, but she came back every day to feed her dog Sky, tidy up, and take Sky for a walk. She didn't leave for good. She was coming back for Christmas. She had ordered the turkey and told the next door neighbor she would be back. We were very close and everyone adored her. I did everything with her. I can't grieve yet. It's like being in a movie. You don't expect it to happen to people you know. It's devastating. The post-mortem revealed X, Y, and Z. I've been told I can't talk about that, but I had the job of identifying her. I could just make her out. I don't wish that on anyone. Rob, who was a professional Speedway rider for 6 years, added, my mum would talk to everyone and would do anything for anyone. She was that kind of person. Jacqueline had worked in a care home in Pontyland before working with her son at AC Snaith's Butchers in the village until last year. And there's Rob Senior, Jacqueline. That looks as if it might have been at the Speedway as well, doesn't it? Jacqueline then took up a job at Brough Park, Greyhound and Speedway Stadium in Byker as the snack bar supervisor. She had connections at the stadium as her husband, also called Rob, 52, and their son had both been Speedway riders there. Rob added, when Mam and I worked together in the Butchers, we had lots of laughs. She was a real prankster. When we sold the Butchers, Mam went to work at Brough Park, and I then started to set up another Butchers at Crescent Farm in Throckley. I only opened the new business last Thursday. Mam said she wanted to see the new Butchers, but she never got the chance. I hope she's looking down on me. The business has opened, but to be honest, I couldn't concentrate. I just returned to work yesterday to try to keep my mind occupied. Stephen Streiner, 48 of 49 of Meadowbank Drive, Choppington. I don't see if he's the same address, has been charged for Jacqueline's murder. He appeared before Newcastle Crown Court on Tuesday and was remanded. Rob, a former Pontyland High School pupil, added, we believe there is to be a second post-mortem for the defence and we can't lay Mam to rest yet. It will probably be Christmas next week when we can do that. We need to lay her to rest as she needs peace because she has been through hell and back. All I hope is she wasn't in pain for long. We know she died from a beating and strangulation. My mum's brothers and sisters and my dad are in a million bits. We are trying to get over it. Whoever did this, their life sentence will never be like our life sentence. I have had my mother taken away from me. It will all come apparent in court. I don't know why this could have happened because my mum was so delicate and beautiful. We want to remember her with lovely thoughts. My dad is very emotional and is cradling her dog. Where me? I'm thinking this isn't happening. I keep thinking she's going to walk through the door. Now, I quite understand, Rob. It's, family are the last ones to come to terms with what's happened. But clearly, Rob, you're a very, very strong character, and the fact that you did get back on the train, as it were, and run Speedway at Newcastle for so long, and this is just another road bump for somebody with your strength of character, with your dad helping you. I'm sure that you can overcome anything, and I'm sure that the Speedway community is behind you to try and be of comfort at in some way or another. Very difficult, but as I say, you've come through far harder. So yeah, it is very, very sad that the news today. It does seem as if for some clubs the wheels are slowly falling off the wagon. Obviously feel sorry for Kyle, who was looking forward to making his debut, and obviously for the rest of the Diamonds riders who now have no club to ride for. I think it would be good if Newcastle can be saved, other people come forward and save it. As I say, I don't think it does anybody in Speedway any good for Newcastle to close, least of all, as I say, either Redcar or Berwick, who are such close neighbours. Anyway, as I say, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's chat with Rob Grant Sr.'s teammate in the 89 team, Sean. And maybe we'll get some reaction from Sean as to what he thinks of the current state of Speedway, which in some places seems to be thriving, although the results haven't been great for Berwick. It's the season itself has actually been very, very productive. When you consider some of the highs of this season, you can, for me certainly, I can accept the odd home defeat. It's just unfortunate, the timings of them. Hopefully for Berwick, we'll have had our bad luck in the first part of the season. Not that I wish bad luck on any of our competition, but we've had our lot. It might be you that it comes to next. Although obviously to Mildenhall, that you've had a benefit of a rule change last year. The Bullets had to replace Leon Flint when he went to the Wolves. This year they've changed the rules, so now when Jason Edwards has been signed by Kings Lynn, he can still carry on riding for the Fen Tigers. But I get it. It was a stupid rule in the first place, as far as I was concerned, because later on in the season, I remember Kyle Bickley and one or two other National Development League riders riding in the Premiership, which just makes a mockery of the ban on being able to ride in 3 different competitions. Anyway, when I say I was absolutely devastated when I read that article about Jacqueline Grant. Rob, you made of stern stuff, both you and your dad. So I know you'll get through this latest road bump, and hopefully that you're not lost to Speedway and the Speedway family. Anyway, we'll blimey, let's see what tomorrow brings. Who knows? Catch you all soon. Bye for now.